October is here, and nostalgia is calling. The smell of caramel apples, the sound of crinkling candy wrappers, and the glow of jack-o'-lanterns on every porch. But let's be honest, Halloween used to taste better. The 80s, 90s, and early 2000s were packed with snacks and candies so good, so weird, and so iconic that every kid dreamed of finding them in their Halloween bucket. But somewhere along the way, they vanished. Tonight, we're counting down the top 10 snacks we wish we could still eat this Halloween, plus one special treat that deserves to make a comeback more than any other. Grab your flashlight, open your pillowcase, and let's go trick-or-treating down memory lane. Number 10. Oh Boise's. These chips were unlike anything else on the shelf. Puffy, ridged, and baked to perfection, Oh Boise's were crunchy yet airy, like eating a cloud made of salt and potato. Keebler launched them in the early 90s, and for a while they ruled the lunchbox scene. The commercials promised they were oh boisterous, and they lived up to it. The taste was buttery but light, crispy yet somehow soft, a flavor balance modern chips still haven't nailed. Kids love the noise they made when you bit into them. That perfect hollow crunch. They didn't just snack on them, they made them part of after-school rituals. You'd turn on Nickelodeon, pour out a handful, and eat them one ridge at a time. But as baked snacks took over, Oh Boise's quietly disappeared. Every time someone opens a bag of Pop Chips or Kettle Bakes today, a 90s kid remembers the one that did it first. Number 9. Munch'ems. They were the mystery snack no one could describe. Half cracker, half chip, totally addictive. Munch'ems had the perfect balance of crunch and flavor, with that unmistakable buttery aftertaste that somehow lingered longer than it should have. The commercials sold them as a snack for grown-ups. But kids knew better. They were for everyone. You'd grab a handful and before you knew it, half the box was gone. They came in flavors like ranch, sour cream, and cheddar, all dusted just enough to coat your fingers in salty proof of your crime. They were baked instead of fried, long before that became trendy, and they had that slightly toasty aroma that filled the room when you opened the bag. And while everyone remembers Doritos and Pringles, true snack veterans know Munch'ems were the hidden gem that deserved better. Number 8. Pizzeria's chips. Keebler again. The same elves who made cookies tried their hand at pizza-flavored chips, and the result was legendary. Pizzerias actually tasted like pizza, not in a vague, cheese powder kind of way, but real pizza flavor. They were baked from real pizza dough, seasoned with tomato, oregano, garlic, and melted cheese flavor that hit you the moment you opened the bag. The smell alone could clear a room of kids playing outside because everyone wanted one. They were the snack equivalent of a Friday night sleepover, pizza boxes, movies, and soda everywhere. Every kid wanted them in their lunch, and every parent secretly stole a few after bedtime. They were discontinued in the mid-90s, but fans still beg Keebler to bring them back. Imagine finding these in your Halloween bucket today. You'd trade away every fun-sized Snickers just to get one bag. Number 7. Squeeze-Its, a drink that looked like it came straight from a cartoon. Squeeze-Its were bright, wild, and shaped like little characters, each one with a goofy face molded right into the bottle. You'd twist off the plastic cap and squeeze neon liquid straight into your mouth, sometimes mixing flavors just to see what chaos would happen. It stained your tongue, your clothes, and sometimes your parents' furniture. Each bottle had names like Chucklin' Cherry and Grumpy Grape, and the commercials made them look like pure sugar-fueled anarchy. It was the kind of drink you'd trade your lunch pudding for. Sure, it was basically liquid sugar, but back then, that was part of the charm. They made every kid feel like they were drinking something from another planet. Today, they'd never pass modern sugar regulations. But if we're talking Halloween candy nostalgia, Squeeze-Its deserve a resurrection. Number 6. Pepsi Blue. Pepsi decided to get weird in the early 2000s, and the result was Pepsi Blue, a soda that looked radioactive and tasted like blueberry cotton candy. It was strange, it was bold, and it was unforgettable. You'd see that electric blue bottle on store shelves and feel like you were buying something forbidden. Kids loved it. Parents hated it. It was the liquid definition of rebellion. Some said it tasted like a melted popsicle. Others said it was like blueberry bubblegum. But one thing's for sure. It didn't taste like any other soda before or after it. It was discontinued after 2 years, but returned briefly in 2021, only to vanish again like a ghost in the night. Pepsi Blue is the soda equivalent of that one kid who moved away after 5th grade. You never stopped wondering what happened to them. Number 5. Planters Cheese Balls. You could spot that blue can from across the room. Pop the lid, and the smell hit instantly. That cheesy, powdery aroma that coated your fingers and your soul. Planters. Cheese balls were more than a snack. They were a personality trait. That perfect combination of salty, tangy, and crunchy that made you eat way past full. People hoarded them in their desks, brought them to sleepovers, and used the can as a coin holder when the snacks were gone. The orange dust was like a badge of honor, a mark of true snacking excellence. When Planters brought them back for a limited time in 2018, the internet lost its mind. They sold out everywhere, and scalpers even listed them online. If Halloween buckets came with a can of these, no one would complain. Forget fun-size candy bars. Give us a handful of cheese balls and a paper towel. Number 4. Jell-O Pudding Pops. The 80s classic that defined frozen desserts. Smooth, creamy, and perfectly sweet. Jell-O Pudding Pops were the reason every freezer needed extra space. They melted fast, but the flavor was unmatched. Vanilla and chocolate swirls that tasted like a hug from the past. The texture was this magical in-between. Not quite ice cream, not quite fudge pop, but something entirely its own. They had this frosty surface that stuck to your tongue before giving way to pure, creamy perfection. Commercials made them look like luxury. A treat you didn't just eat, you experienced. They disappeared in the early 2000s, and no replacement has ever captured that texture. Every generation deserves to experience a pudding pop at least once in their life. Number 3. Butterfinger BBs. They were chaotic perfection. Tiny round Butterfingers coated in chocolate that you could pop by the handful. They melted too fast, crumbled too easy, and left a trail of chocolate dust everywhere. But no one cared. They were fun, messy, and dangerously good. BBs were the kind of candy that disappeared halfway through the movie because you couldn't stop eating them. Kids poured them straight into their mouths like they were cereal. Even the sound of them rattling in the box was satisfying. They were so good that even Bart Simpson couldn't save them from extinction. When Butterfinger tried to bring them back as bites, it wasn't the same. BBs were lightning in a wrapper, the perfect mix of crunch, chaos, and childhood magic. Number 2. High C Ecto Cooler. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you remember this one. The neon green juice box that tied into Ghostbusters, complete with Slimer on the front. Ecto Cooler was citrusy, tangy, and weirdly refreshing, a drink that tasted like Saturday morning cartoons and sugar highs. It wasn't just a beverage, it was a badge of cool. Having one in your lunchbox meant you were living large. The color alone made you feel like you were drinking something forbidden. Part candy, part science experiment. When it disappeared, it left a hole in pop culture big enough for a ghost to fly through. It came back briefly for Ghostbusters reboots, but it's gone again. If Halloween had an official beverage, this would be it. Number 1. Hostess Chocodiles. They were chocolate-covered Twinkies, and they were perfection. Moist cake, sweet cream, and a smooth chocolate shell that made every bite taste like dessert heaven. The first bite cracked like a candy bar, and the second melted into pure nostalgia. Chocodiles were so beloved they developed a cult following, especially on the West Coast. People would ship them across the country just to get a box. Some fans even stored them in the freezer to make the chocolate snap colder. When Hostess went bankrupt, fans mourned. They came back briefly, but the formula changed. Less cream, thinner shell. The original Chocodile was a masterpiece that Halloween baskets today desperately need. If you're still watching, you already know this list hits where it hurts. These are the snacks that raised us, the flavors that defined a generation, and the treats that made every Halloween unforgettable. So hit that like button and subscribe, because we're not done yet. The next one isn't just nostalgic, it's legendary. The Wonka Everlasting Gobstopper, the one candy that promised to last forever, until it didn't. The Everlasting Gobstopper was more than candy. It was magic. Straight from the world of Willy Wonka, it was color, flavor, and imagination rolled into one tiny sphere. Each layer revealed a new surprise, and every kid who ate one felt like they were in the chocolate factory. You'd suck on it for hours, watching the colors fade one by one, and somehow it always made you feel like the world was a little more magical. But when the Wonka brand shut down, the Gobstopper went with it. The modern versions just don't feel the same. The real Gobstopper represented something more than flavor. It was the taste of childhood dreams, the candy that made you believe in magic. If we could bring back just one thing from the past, this would be it. So there you have it. 10 snacks that deserve a spot in every Halloween bucket, and one that deserves to live forever. These weren't just snacks. They were memories, laughter, and moments that defined an era. Tell us in the comments which one you'd bring back if you could. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got more nostalgia, more scandals, and more flavor coming your way. Thank you for watching. This is the Grease Trap, wishing you a happy Halloween and a full bucket of memories.